How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, we're going to be going over some common issues with the 12 to 14 Honda CR-V. Some of the issues I may talk about may or may not pertain to you. If you're an owner, make sure you drop a comment down below if there's something that I have mentioned or something I have not mentioned that you have needed addressing. Also, if you're a technician and if you're seeing something else in your area that I have not mentioned, make sure you also drop a comment down below so the community could be as informed as possible. If you have a 15 or 16 CR-V, it is a different engine, a different transmission. I've already made a video on that, and they have different issues for from this one, so I'll make sure to have that video in the description section down below in case you are curious. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. And one of the biggest issues we see is the VTC gear actuator does fail prematurely, so that'll have a cold start rattle. So anytime, this is more in the winter, but anytime the car sits for a long time or overnights, for example, if you go to work, come out at night, then you're going to have this rattle, and that will be a VTC gear, and the valve cover will have to come off, and we'll have to go ahead there and replace that. Not a huge deal, but it is super common. Some of these also have oil consumption issues, which could also directly affect that gear as well. So something you want to keep in mind if you're purchasing one of these, make sure you look at the service history and that the oil changes were done in a timely fashion. So moving on, we also have a rattle type of noise from immediate acceleration, and that'll be the drive belt tensioner that is not pictured here, but it is underneath here. So that'll have a rattle type of noise only on initial throttle acceleration, or sometimes in a startup situation as well. This will be every startup situation and not just a cold start situation. Then what you have to do is you have to change the drive belt and the tensioner to repair that concern. Another thing, these do have a 5-speed transmission, and unlike the CVT, they do have a juddering type of condition when you don't maintain the fluid properly. A lot of people don't like the CVT transmission, although I do like them over these for that simple fact. I feel like they definitely drive smoother. But anyways, if that happens to you, and a judder will be typically light acceleration or maintaining speed, and you feel the car jerking in a back and forth type of situation, all you have to do is change the fluid in most cases. Some cases you may have to change the torque converter, although changing the fluid a couple times in most cases does fix that. So back to the oil consumption situation and late oil changes, a lot of times that will affect the timing chain, and it will end up stretching the timing chain. So that's something, again, you're going to want to check records on and make sure the oil changes are being done in a timely fashion. So earlier on, I forget what years exactly, but these cars did have heater core issues, and we would perform a couple hour flush to repair that. So if you're getting poor heat from the driver's side, but you have good heat for the passenger side, there's a good chance your heater core is partially clogged and does need to be clogged in order to repair that. So once again, if you're having poor heat on the driver's side but sufficient heat on the passenger side, you're going to want to get that flushed, and make sure you use blue type Honda coolant only. Don't put that yellow stuff, that green stuff, or anything of that nature. That stuff is super corrosive and will give you more problems also down the road. So another thing, this is partly maintenance issue, is if you don't change the rear differential fluid, and obviously this is going to be on all drive vehicles only, which we mostly have here in Jersey. As you're turning mostly tight turns, you're going to get a juddering situation where the car feels like it's locking up, and you're simply just going to have to replace the rear differential fluid. To fix that, do some figure eights, flush it again one more time, and usually that resolves it. If you're changing your fluid in the rear differential every 30,000 miles, you will probably never have this issue, but we do see it from lack of maintenance for that. We do see some rear differential pump motors also failing, and you get a code for that. All drive system light comes on, and you're going to have to go inside and replace the motor for that certain condition. Something that we see once in a while. Most of these are out of warranty at this time, so that's something that's going to come out of your pocket, obviously, and just something you want to be mindful for. Overall, I think these vehicles are great. Once in a while, we do have some sticking calipers, particularly in the back as well. Obviously not a deal breaker, but something that you're going to want to be mindful for as well. Especially, you know, if you're going to see, normally you see one side wearing out faster than the other, and then when you go pressing the calipers, they just don't go in smoothly or give you a little bit more resistance than the other one. At that point, if it's a higher mileage vehicle, I would personally go ahead and just do both, because if one failed, that means the other one is shortly failing behind it. So like I said before, overall these are great vehicles. If you're in the market for one, I would definitely buy with confidence, although make sure that the maintenance was done properly. You're going to want to ask for maintenance records, do your due diligence, make sure you take a technician with you that is well versed and well, oiled around these vehicles and just knows what they're looking for. We do have some link failures, particularly in the front as well, but not a deal breaker. You could get a set for probably 60, 70 bucks and replace those and be on your way. That'll cause an extreme noise over some bumps and some slight road imperfections. It sounds worse than what it actually is when you're driving it. And this is just simple link replacement in the front end. So once again, if you're in the market for one of these vehicles, you can go ahead and buy with confidence. They have some issues, but nothing that is a deal breaker in my opinion. But if you do run across some of these issues, it's something that you can use to bargain with and obviously bring that price down to you and have it addressed later on. So with that being said, hopefully this video was helpful to somebody out there, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.